latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, we'll take you there. On Target with Francis Pierre, live at noon, Monday to Thursday. We're there on 91.9 and 91.5. Join the talk, we keep it live.
Welcome brothers, welcome sisters, welcome to our program On Target. And as soon as we start this program, you could pick up your telephone. Some people like to open bowl, they like the new ball, and we welcome it. We never have a subject matter, and as such you could introduce your own subject matter. Some people believe we're speaking about one thing all the time. We give you the opportunity to introduce topic. We fear no subject matter. From the war in Ukraine, Russia, the issue in Israel, call and express your views and opinion on it. Or you may want to speak about issue trending. Or you may speak about the occult. Any issue we provide a forum. We are 91.9, 91.5 Real FM. We are 94.9, that is We Noise FM in Brooklyn, New York. And the best thing you could do for us is subscribe to our program. We're the most powerful radio in Grenada. We provide the opportunity for people to express themselves. And we hardly have people subscribing to our program. So we want to encourage you, subscribe to our program. Help us to grow. Based upon this social media issue, and I'm just learning about it too, you have to subscribe for us to make a serious impact. You have to subscribe to the program, like the program, and share the program. Yes, Friday was a holiday. It was a holiday to celebrate emancipation. And every aspect of the celebration was good because it's celebration. What do you do when celebration comes? When you're celebrating something, a joyous moment, a happy moment, you would pray perhaps in some sense of gratitude. You make sure you have food, you have drink, you have music. You may have drama to educate the younger ones of what happened. You may replay it, reenact it in a drama way. So that is the spectacle. That is a part of the celebration, the tangible part that you see and you enjoy yourself. But emancipation from slavery, and the black man was perhaps in the worst form of slavery in the world, shackle slavery. If you was a slave, your children were slaves. You were born in slavery. And you could have freed yourself from slavery. You know, if you get a blight, you buy yourself from slavery, but that doesn't mean you could buy your children from slavery. So it was a very cruel, harsh, unacceptable. You could practically use any word you want to describe it, and you would be correct. I'm a little bit worried. And if you don't call and change the topic, that's what I've been speaking. That is what I will be speaking on this morning. I'm a bit worried. It seems as though we like the spectacle part, the drama part, the parade on the street, the speeches, and the blame game. But how does that transform us? How does the memory of slavery change us? My best example to draw as a comparison is the Jews, the Israelis. throughout history, the Israelis have been persecuted. Adolf Hitler wanted a world without Jews. Adolf Hitler was a racist. He said the black people is the worst race in the world. But he decided to keep them as slaves. But he decided to kill the Jews. He killed about 6 million Jews. Send them in the gas chambers. And the Jews were running. They were running from Germany. And a lot of countries in Europe didn't like the Jews. The Jews was perhaps the most persecuted people in the world. Boatload of Jews came to the Caribbean. The Caribbean did not accept them. Some of them end up in Venezuela. Venezuela accepted them. Did the Jews remain where they are? No, I don't think they remain. Sometimes I believe when the Jews refer back to the time that they was in slavery, they're using it for it to get sorry for them. They wouldn't agree with me. The Jews have invested in education of the Nobel Prize for Literature. The Jews win it 50% of the time. Less than 2% of the world population have won the Nobel Prize for Literature 50% of the time. As a small nation, the Jews have more billionaires than perhaps any nation in the world. In the United States of America, the Jews is perhaps 2% of the American population. About 7 million people. But on the average, they may be 19, 20, 30% of the wealth in America. Persecution, the struggles they have done something to these people. They're on fire. They want to survive. They culture the people to be educated. I've heard a story once from a Jew. For every $10 you have, you must spend $1 on charity, $1 on saving, and $3 on investment. That means you must live with the next life. Now go and check a grenadier. $1 out of every 10, you must save it. $1 out of every 10, you must spend it on charity. $3 out of every 10, you must spend on investment. That is a people that are preparing for crisis. They're well prepared. 25 million Jews. About 6 to 7 million in America. About 7 to 8 million in Israel. And the rest scatter all over the place. The culture, the education, the generational wealth they believe. Now compare it with Caribbean black people. Forget about other black people in the world. Caribbean black people. We have about 25 million people in the Caribbean. Haiti alone are about 14 million. Grenada have the most vehicles in probably the whole region. I don't know the statistics, so I could be wrong there. And I don't mind you correct me. 100,000, 68,000 registered vehicles. That's what the police in Grenada said. We buy a car. Could a car make money? Is that an investment or do we spend money? There must be a line of demarcation between whether you encourage your people to spend money or invest money. Spend money or invest money. And these are the times sometimes I get fed up with our teachers of economics. I don't know what you're teaching the children. Do we spend money or do we invest money? Young couples. When two young couples meet, you have a caller on the line? Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Doc.
Yes, my brother.
How are you? How are you?
Great. I want to spend money and invest money.
Invested me, invested me. Give me a 3 million. It's gonna come back to you times 4.
But we not. You see that all we want to do is spend money.
I'll tell you something. I laughing and I listen this thing there, and it's so real. It is so real. Let me tell you something. You know, when I look back and people look at me, they wonder and they say a lot of things. But my starter salary in the 70s, early 70s, was $87 a month. Yeah? I had to pay bus every day coming out of the country. I had to lunch from that. I have to contribute to a home with that. And I was able to buy a house and land. After a while, short while, I was able to build a house for my mother. Brand new, well painted. With a salary, maximum salary, when I fell out with my company, for that reason, of $150 a month. And I went home to rest. I said I'm tired because I couldn't get holiday working with the company. I was all over the place in all sections of the company. So when I started low, but I ended up on management, and I left on management. Yeah? I tried about 90 times to get my friends, and even family too, to invest for growth. And I'll tell you something. Great opportunities. And I'm still trying. Black people, they just can't see beyond their nose. And when they see you achieve something, do you know they want to tell? You are dealing. You do bad. I go through all those things. I go through the acid test. And I'm sorry for us. Because this generation today will not develop. They lost the boat a long, long, long way. Yeah? It is not difficult to get a black man to see on the long term and to do things for the long term growth. Every successive generation must be wealthier than the other than that, you're going back to poverty. Once you're going to have the quantum and divide the quantum, you're going back to objective poverty. They cannot see this. So they blame it on another generation, another culture. The new culture, what they have, but they were here before the culture, and they have nothing. And they still blame it on the new culture. Yeah? I'm sorry for all people. I'm still trying. Because if you try and try again, boy, you'll succeed at last. So I'm still trying with them. But I'll tell you, it's one of the most difficult things to show a person their way and for you all to take it together. It's not happening easily. And I am a practical, I can't give you the whole story, but I'm a practical example of what I'm telling you today. It's not easy. I lost great, great opportunities as a result of trying to grow friends with me because I'm not a selfish person. And today, they're still the same place. I'm begging them. See beyond where you are. See deep into your future from where you are. And if you fail to see deep into the future, your prosperity, your growth, your retirement, then you do. If you can't see that, you do. Have a good day, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar, it's important. I can't give up hope. About 30, 35 years ago, I was in a discussion with some other brothers about Jamaica, and they thought Jamaica was a lost case. One of the most peaceful countries in the world in 1962, and by then one of the most violent countries in the world. But the question is a change of culture. And maybe we have to constantly trying and asking and etc. Yes, scholar, welcome.
After Mr. P.
Yes, scholar, go right ahead.
Mr. P, you know, there are only three words: wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Mr. P, one of the things that I recognize we black people, we poor, but we're very proud. Right? We're very proud. You know, a young man may working, we black people may working for about $1,000, and we see we save at $10 or $20. You know, we will find it hard, and we so shameful to go any financial institution and
Can
open
alone
account
me.
with $20. We don't. We go see what we always see. How people go look at us. What people say about us. But not what people say. But you have an aim to save something, right? When you do we do what is right, you're saving something. Everybody saving $20 that added up. That we got up. We're proud, and we believe what people will say if you want to put that $20 in every month in our account on our account. What people will say. And to say again, I want to say again to we have to educate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves and know and understand what is going on around us. And see, when we do know what's going on around us, people who think they're high and mighty, they will always tip our head and tell us things that is not true, things that cannot happen. They will tell us, yeah, we will fall for it. But when you educate yourself and you know you understand system around you, you know they won't come. If they come to you, you will tell them that's not true. That's not true. I'm just speaking about emancipation. Right? And many times we the black people want to blame the white people from buying the slave. But who the white people buy the slave from? Is same black people. So we can't condemn one and praising the other, praising the black men. We have to condemn both of them. We are condemn both of them. And let's take a look at what is going on in our country today. We say freedom of speech. A man have a right to speak about the injustices that are going on in the country. What if it happen now? When you speak about the wrong things that going on in the country, well, some people want to cut your throat. They want to say all kind of things about us. Look again. You want to close our radio station for speaking of the wrong things that are going on in the country. And you have a prime minister making statement. Only one group of people should get work. And the only reason why the other getting because the real NDC don't know who the real NMP. So if you say we want to emancipate, set free, we want to set free from everything. We're free to speak. Whatever the issue that are going on, we speak to voice our opinion. We see wrong things. We have to talk about the wrong things, right? You should not try to tell people they cannot talk, you cannot say things when they see things going around. Because if you see your neighbor doing something to pay, right, as a concerned citizen, you want to call them aside, speak to them and say, yo man, this is not the right way to go. Right? You have to change your attitude. Change your attitude towards the way or for how you're doing things. And instead of having a negative attitude towards yourself or towards people, to have a positive attitude towards yourself. I'm simply I want to say again concerning no that doesn't ache me. A young man, the first job he get, he might well go for $2,000. He have a child outside, but he have a child with a young lady living by her mom, he live by her mom. The first thing he will want to buy a car. Right? You want to buy a car. Okay, so the case like your child will throw her out, which she will come home and live with you. Next thing your mother don't want her home. Right? So I call upon the young man. If you have from a land, see if you get up the land and build a home. Build a home. And then you could put your child or children and them in the home. And then if afterwards, when you have to you feel fear to death for 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 the land, if you get a little build house, you go invest in something else, right? But then what we say find happening? The first thing they see is buying a car, and when they can't feel pay for the car, so the car may cost about $12,000, they pay $8,000, they can pay the next 4,000. The bank take back the car, the out of a car. So pay, that's what I say.
Yes, scholar, thank you. It's a whole culture change. Sometimes people says that you have to educate yourself, and sometimes that's, it's easy to say these things, but if you have a whole culture, and that's where leadership comes in. You look at the success stories, in your own country, the people who hold the high end of the jobs, and people look upon them. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Sir,
Yes.
yes, the Jewish population in Israel is 7.2 million,
Yeah.
and outside of Israel is 8.5 million, which gives them a total of almost 16 million in the world.
Some people say it's about 25, because in America it's about 6 point something million. And then when you check all with the scatter and who claiming to be Jews, they give them a maximum of 25 million.
All right. Yes. No, Mr. Perry, the issue I really want to deal with is that Hamas spokesman in Grenada been constantly accusing the Jewish people of starving the people in Gaza. Now, what they did, they took a child that have some genetical disease because of interbreeding among these people. And the child not starving, but what happened is that the child sick, and they use that to spread propaganda against Israel. But what happened over the weekend? Hamas turned around and mocking them because Hamas released a video of them enjoying themselves in the tunnel, the amount of food. They boasting, look the amount of food they have. Right? All of them big and fat and enjoying themselves. They have bananas, mangoes, everything. And they show basically a skeleton of one of those hostages digging his own grave. They show a chart with the food that he's getting per day. The thing about it is that there is a similarity between the Hamas terrorists and the spokesman and the spokesmen for Hamas in Grenada. Because when we look at what Hamas did to the Jewish people, the rape, the torture, cutting pregnant women belly open, and then murdering the unborn child. Remember, that happened in Grenada. And what we can see is that these men in Grenada today, there are some of them that is glorifying Hitler. And my warning to the Grenadian people, if they make the mistake and put back this kind of people in power, they would live to regret it. Mr. Pierre, imagine that Hamas sworn to destroy Jews, Christians, right? And imagine a man calling on the Christians to pray for Hamas. Can you imagine that? That man must be sick. Oh, I just can't understand what is going on in Grenada, because what I realize is that there are too much biblically illiterate people in this country, and people need to study the scripture and study history, and they would see that they would never be able to destroy Israel. They're asking, are these people the real Jews? Well, then something is wrong with them. Because in every country where you have indigenous people, there is an indigenous language. And the Arabs in Israel, they can't speak, they're not the Hebrew-speaking people. The Jews are the Hebrew-speaking people, right? There is so much archaeological information to prove that these are the true people. It cannot be denied. But I'll tell you one thing, prophecy is fulfilling. And the Messiah said in Matthew 24, that in the last days, the whole world will be like in the days of Noah. And when you go back in Genesis 6 and you read it, what you see in the days of Noah, in the English translation, there was violence all over the world. But when you go back to the Hebrew, it clearly states that there was Hamas all over the world. So anybody can just use their phone, check it. What is the Hebrew word for violence? And they see is Hamas. Have a good day, sir.
Yes, scholar, interesting piece of history and information. And as these wars are not fight with guns and bomb alone, but they fight for attention in the public space. So propaganda is a serious aspect of the war. I had to chuckle when you say Hamas spokesman in Grenada. I don't think Hamas have a spokesman in Grenada, but I know we have people that perhaps like Hamas. And yes, you have people that are against the Jews. The Iran has decided that the Jews must not live. They must die. They say from the river to the sea. And the only place for the Jews is in the bottom of the ocean. And the Quran say you must not make agreement with the Jews. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yeah, we lost that color. Yes, the Quran, it is written in the Quran that you must not make agreements with Jews and infidels. And even if you are a Muslim and you backslide or you convert it to another religion, Islam say kill you. So it's tough. But I always advance the view there's not enough people in the world that want peace. Because most of the countries in the world, they seems to pick up the sword and they're backing aside. Caribbean and African countries too. And I chastise the Caribbean the most for that. We should not back aside. This war is going on for over 3,000 years. We should be a light, showing them the path of peace and seeking compromise and negotiation. And the Caribbean should speak with one voice. It is in our interest to speak with one voice. And we should also pattern or take some of the positive aspects of the Jews, because the Jews was enslaved and persecuted, and as a result of that we were enslaved and persecuted. So, and we have more numbers than the Jews. So we should spend more time for our people to emancipate themselves. Not only the spectacle, not only the jump up, not only the drum, but also we should have a higher percentage of our people well educated. I don't see the hunger in Grenada for education. In fact, I believe in yesteryear there was a greater hunger for education. But in today's society, we don't seem too hungry for our education. Most of our men are without power in the home. They have been stripped of the power. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome. You're on the, yes. Go ahead and speak, please. We know you're there, but we're not hearing you. We hope you're not listening to your device. What's up? We're not hearing you.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, go ahead.
Now?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. Do you aware that Benjamin Netanyahu is American and not a Jew?
Well, that is not, we just said there's a lot of Jews in America. So if you're a Jew and you're born in America, you're American, but he's a Jew. When they ask Eric Gay who is a Grenadian, he says if your grandmother is a Grenadian, he's a Grenadian. So if Netanyahu claims he's a Jew, he's a Jew.
He is born American.
Well, he's an American Jew.
He grew up in Israel.
Yeah, he's a
Jew. He's a born American, study in Israel.
He's a Jew.
Prime Minister.
He's a Jew still.
So I wonder if it's a fake Israel that is there or Israel.
You remember we have some people from Ethiopia that claimed there was Jews, and Israel took 50,000 of them, and they said them is Jews, and they were born in Israel. They were born in Ethiopia.
But I believe Israel is black people and not is Zionist racist.
When I hear these black people saying that about 2,000 years ago is just 2,000 years is small period of time. Israel no black people.
A wanted man that is facing international criminal court telling me he's God's son, he's Jewish people.
Who is the man that facing international court? Netanyahu?
Yes.
They want about the international court, man. This is not about, this is about Jews, the Jews and Hamas fighting, and a lot of European countries take Hamas side.
Yeah, but it's time they ease up this Palestinian man. He's the people off.
Well, you don't find it's time Hamas release the Jews too.
Well, if you look at the prison, Israel prison have more prisoners than anything else.
The last thousand something Jews that Hamas go in Israel and kidnap about 3 years ago, they still have about 500 of them. They don't know how much alive, even the dead bodies they have. You don't find it's time Hamas give them people the bodies and the children.
Well, too, it's vice versa because Israel have...
Well, you have no vice versa in that.
Hamas... in prison without trial.
Hamas went to Israel in the dead of night and they kill, slaughter, maim, and take 1,200 as hostages. Israel say, I want back all. All attempt at ceasefire and peace fail. So you don't find time for Hamas to give back Israel the people.
Well, I think, yeah, it's fair. It's fair. They give back people. But
and as Israel say them.
Because about half the population of Palestine is in Israeli prison.
Well, Israel say they commit crime. And they could have... Yeah, but Hamas hiding behind the civilians. They build trenches in the hospital and they find gun from there. Israel say from the hospital. Well, the world will agree with that. But Israel say...
They defend themselves, but I mean, it's Palestinian. Where you expect to defend themselves? They will use it as a shield.
Inside the hospital?
Israel will do the same.
You find them to go and put the...
Israel will do the same. If you go to fight a war in Israel, they will dig the trenches and they will fight along the people. That is Israel's excuse.
Alright, so
starve and kill people.
So when
that too. Free the Palestinian.
Okay. Alright, caller, thank you. This caller is back in the Palestine and he said free them, and you know, and this thing is going on for so long that I'm encouraging Caribbean leaders, be an agent of peace. Don't take side. Advocate for peace, assist unconditional ceasefire, and let us negotiate and come with a peaceful solution. I think that's what needs to be. But the part most that I'm taking away from that, irrespective of all the struggles and conflict that the Jews are involved in, they are very educated people. They believe in generational wealth. They believe in investing money. Unlike we black people in the Caribbean, we do not believe in generational wealth. If you look, yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon once again.
Yes, my brother.
No, this you have to pin this on our leaders. Sometimes people doesn't want to accept it, but leaders are the problem. Maybe it starts from the home. You train yourself and your children to start to see from home. But when you get out to the wide world, you know, and you start to work. I believe leaders have to work out a formula as to exactly what economy they want and how they want to build the economy and the contribution each citizen have to make. Saving is one of it, but you know you have to pay people to save. Now, if you're paying a person to spend just to be low cost of living, you can't expect them to save. In negotiating wages, you're supposed to negotiate a special saving percentage. So you say, okay, 5% compulsory saving. When employers need to do the same thing too. When you cost in your goods, you cost an increased wage in that. So say 5% increased wages, that is for saving full stop. So the employee not supposed to spend that, he put that in the bank. Because that's going to turn around and help the employer to invest, to expand, and to do further investment. So we need to get involved. Don't pay people below cost of living, and so forth. You pay them so that they could deal with cost of living, so they have a surplus. But you make a point, Mr. Pierre, about the leaders having to step forward and to deal with our world leaders. Yes, I agree. You said about CARICOM, but you know we doesn't have a CARICOM.
You mean CARICOM?
You understand? We have that just on paper. And I have been saying this for quite a number of years. CARICOM is irrelevant. It's not working. And so that's why I suggested a few years ago, and I made a call on our Prime Minister, the outgoing Prime Minister, to put his second in command in office and take up his portmanteau and be the foreign minister to shuttle for peace. And that applies to all the leaders in the Caribbean. So rather than go as a group together, you do it individually. Because you see, once you go in a group, they only have to trick one person, and then you trick the whole group. When you go on a one-on-one, you know, as you call that, bilateral, you get a commitment for you. And if each person, each leader do that and get a commitment for them, we're going to make more headway than going as a group where we're not going to make any headway. So yes, the Caribbean leaders have to step forward, but I want them to step forward not as CARICOM, but step forward as individual leaders representing the various countries. I think that will be more successful than going as CARICOM as a group, because they continue doing that and they're failing. Because CARICOM is just not united. And the international countries know that. So once they come as a group as CARICOM, okay, well, we know which one to target and how much to target when they go back. No action. Yeah? Okay. So that is what I suggest we do. As individual leaders, represent your country individually. You get individual commitment from the various leaders, and you work that. Forget CARICOM.
Okay. Strong position on that. The world constantly looking for bloc. You have the EU, you have the European, you have the North Atlantic Treaty, you have ASAFAN, the Southeast Asia, and then you have African blocs. So it's practically, it would be practically unwise for CARICOM in the weak state and form now to talk about individual. I understand that the result we want from CARICOM, we have not been getting it. But CARICOM needs some new fire, some new energy. I do hope the leader of the NNP in Grenada could find sit down and establish a committee on CARICOM with a view to put new light, new energy, new fire, new inspiration in CARICOM. Work with one of the local radio stations, and perhaps ours is the best one, because we that speak about CARICOM the most, to educate our people about CARICOM on the ground. And I do hope that the new blood, the new initiative would come from Grenada. I have seen the Prime Minister of Grenada, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, and I'm not impressed that he could make any sense with CARICOM is. I'm slightly disappointed in Mia Motley. I had quite a lot of hopes and dreams when she come in. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good evening. The caller that called before this one,
yeah,
he was totally right. Because the Israeli
You might just have to strengthen your voice a little.
Yes, the Israeli has hostage the Palestinian force. That's the reason why that go on. Because there is no equal rights. That is what happening why you talk about, because I had also say that, but the caller before, he was on point. And he's surely right. And the caller last week that talked about the communist country, he was right to, because these people are progressing people.
But Color, that is not necessarily true, you know. Color.
They are resilient people. They are resilient people. They are very progressive. More than the democratic and what they call it imperialist country. So these people who talk about this, they are totally right. How much hundreds of them even in the Israeli jail. It's a big open jail what is over there, you know. They have them, they start the problem first. Hamas do it in. Hundreds of them, the Israeli have hostage. So them started first. And that is a fake Israel, that's not the Israel God talking about. And I will tell you that.
Okay. Yes, Color, and I listened to the caller last week, and I didn't say anything because, you know, all of us, we encourage people to share their opinion. But it's not a good statement. It's not fair to say that communist country is doing better than the capitalist country. That is not true. We had East Germany was communist, and they was glad to join back one Germany and come back to the western side. Look at Cuba. Cuba is not doing well. Ask when you're in a one-to-one with any one of the Grenadians that train in Cuba, you think they want to go in Cuba and stay? No! They want to go in good old America. They want to go in Europe. They get all the free training in Cuba. But they don't like the system. Cuba have thousands of people in jail because they disagree. In Grenada, if the extremists win in Grenada, they send us in jail, they're closing down radio station, they're beating us up. In China, Falun Gong, and the Uyghur people, just think for yourself. Who is building this project in Liberia? Could you imagine $1 billion project is going on in Liberia? What is the multiplying effect in the surrounding communities? If it was an American company, if it was a Trinidad company building it, the multiplying effect in the communities would have been millions of dollars. So it is not fair, it is not right, it is not correct to say communist countries doing better than democratic countries. No. United States of America have the biggest economy in the world. That's why Trump could talk about tariffs, so create drama about tariffs. Everybody wants American US dollar. Everybody wants to export goods to the Americans because the Americans have the freedom to buy what they want. But it's important that in light of all these things, we don't lose focus. We must speak about our emancipation in terms of our progress. What percentage of our children are doing well in school? Every year we're jumping up. Emancipation. A big spectacle. And I like this spectacle too. Food, drink, fun, women whining up and down the place. We like that performance. But we must look at what is the objective. Should 70% of our children exiting school be competitive on the job market? Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, as a political activist, that's what you are, Mr. Pierre?
Well, you could call me that to me as a political comedian, to activist, anything. I don't identify, I don't hatch on to any political party in Grenada, but I'm a politician with Caribbean politics is concerned in Africa.
So in Grenada, you're saying you are not connected to any political...
No, I don't flaunt. I don't flaunt a political party.
But what's your purpose or reason or agenda for hosting the program, Mr. Pierre?
I came on radio because of education. Because I'm dissatisfied with the productivity level in school. And if you know me from the year one, I'm a man who believes in CARICOM, and I don't believe in reparation, and I believe the black people playing the fool, and we could do better.
Right. But Mr. Pierre, 3 years ago, your program has taken a turn.
Well, after 3 years, you didn't expect me to take a turn. Well, did you hear my program 10 years ago?
Yeah, it used to be different.
I only radio about 10 years now.
You used to talk about a lot of social issues.
A lot of music and education and etc. Yeah. But I realized the leaders are the real culprit. So now I go after drug dealers. That's why you hear me calling Dick Mitchell so regular.
Yeah.
That's why you hear me talking about me and Mockley.
Yeah.
Because they are the leaders.
Yeah, you know what would I like to advise you on, Mr. Pierre? Because you have an agenda, Mr. Pierre. I know that.
I mean, come on. Are they ready without agenda? I want to wake up black people to tell them stop borrowing reparation and educate our children. Have generational wealth. We must look for a millionaire in every member of a family. Each child in primary school must learn to play 2 musical instruments. The politician must stop playing the fool.
Yeah.
Run the agenda.
But Mr. Pierre, one thing I want to tell you is that the political party, the NMP, Mr. Pierre, they have some work to do.
Of course. A lot of work.
Yeah. Because when you look at this new movement that is to become, you're going to take some votes from them.
Of course, the new movement is going to take vote. But that is why we need to educate our people. Because this thing is right. Embassy don't do good already. So if you have a new party coming and NDC do good, they're going to see that they may well get a lot of NDC support, so they're going to put attention on NMP. Knowing NMP track record, every time NDC get a chance for 5 years, NMP just come in all the sitting. So the movement will be cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And they're going to be going after, because the movement that we have now, they're hiding and they're lying, they're telling people what is the objective, you know.
Yeah.
They're riding on cars.
Yeah.
So they know the target group going to be the politicos, the ordinary proletariats.
Yeah.
The ordinary man on the street is who they go after now. Because they are the ones that put NDC in power. Right. But NDC say they're not the true yellow.
Yeah. So you should spend more time, Mr. Pierre.
And doing what?
Doing strategic work and doing more time.
If NMP want to do the work, the NMP business? If NMP don't want to do the work, that is their business. I believe that a people deserve the government they have. I speak on a lot of issues because I believe the NDC lie to the people. You don't agree with me on that?
Well, no man perfect, you know, at the end.
I agree with that. But particularly with the Grenada Development Bank, and that I wish to say, I'm going to speak about last. I believe they really deceive with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have much information on the banking. You know,
well, at the end of the program, listen till the end. I'm going to spend the last 5 minutes speaking about the bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, my brother. So we as a people, we could jump up, we could whine, we could dance about emancipation. Yes, scholar. You're our last scholar. Go ahead.
Mr. Pierre.
Yeah, my brother.
When you hear these fellas them come and talk about Israelite, them not really good. One question I want to ask them. I want to ask them to tell you What is a Jew? Make sure they explain to you, what is a Jew? If they send my family in Ghana, a Jew is a Jew. What is a Jew? A Jew is a man who believes in God. That is a Jew. And make sure they answer. Sapien,
Oui.
the Independence Day celebration on the weekend, Saturday, Friday. You went in Grenville over there?
No, I didn't go in Grenville at all.
Well, you try to emancipate yourself from mental
I emancipate myself already. You know, I'm not talking about generational wealth and education. And I went to a mass in St. Paul yesterday evening. Father Hopkins celebrated 40 years as a priest. And I was there, when he was in the ordination, I was there. And I went back to 40 years as a priest. It was a good moment.
Well, all that is good.
A Grenadian son become a
Right,
priest
that's
and serve the country for 40 years. That was so important.
That's good because he's a Canadian. And
Yeah,
he's a priest.
yeah.
And a priest is a good man.
Yeah,
According to the Bible.
yeah.
Mr. Pierre, I listened to the Prime Minister say that he pledged allegiance to Grenada. And I fully support him. We don't pledge allegiance to no damn king. Very king.
I tell you, the Prime Minister is a fake already. The Prime Minister knows. The Prime Minister knows that based upon the Constitution, what he's saying is violating the Constitution. I'm not saying, Carla, I ain't saying we shouldn't change it, you know. Remember, we had two opportunities with Francis Alexis in the referendum. Where the Prime Minister was then, that time he didn't pledge allegiance to nothing. The Prime Minister of Grenada is a fake.
It's a fake. This fake. Listen to the fake, and they have to do what the fake say. They have to do what the fake say. They will be pledging allegiance to Grenada and not no damn king. If you want to compare, you and your NNP people want to pledge allegiance to the king, pledge allegiance to the king.
All right. Okay, Carla, thank you. We don't have to do what the Prime Minister says. That is why we're challenging the Prime Minister. And I'm going to spend the last few minutes on the Grenada Development Bank. This one means a lot to me. In 1973, in Tong Long, and you have to understand, in 1973, the criticism against Eric Gary called it brimstone and fire. They went after him in all angles. And at that time, they enacted regulations and laws that the Grenada Development Bank should not borrow money to ministers of government, directors of the board, and the people who are politically exposed. So if you is a politician, your brother would be politically exposed. And it was hard. Sylvester is grazing the cow. Some of them politicians didn't have no vehicle. They hitchhiking a ride to go. Nadia Benjamin's husband was an extension officer. Whipple Ned husband was an extension officer. Miss Seppi in Grenville, a very dynamic, powerful orator with the Grenada United Labour Party. She husband is of a little rum shop, selling a little food. They were very poor people. But yet, they were not able to access loans from the Grenada Development Bank. If they applied, they would have qualified, except they were not able to access loans because they were politicians. And it was placed there to avoid corruption. What this government done, it has reduced the government to petty thieves. In my opinion, Deacon Mitchell and the members of the government that permitted that to happen could only be qualified as petty thieves. These individuals are highly certificated. Then Deacon is a lawyer. Deacon knows the law. A number of the members of the NDC are public officers, were public officers. The Minister of Education was a public officer, and I think he reached the stage of permanent secretary. Lennox Andrew was acting permanent secretary. I don't know if he reached permanent secretary. Dennis Cornwall reached at the highest level. They qualify. Gloria Thomas, senior public officer. So a number of the members of NDC was aware. They was knowledgeable. They know the reason why. So in my opinion, I see them as petty thieves. And when I speak, I dare you. And I challenge. So I'm challenging Richard Duncan now to publicly dispute that the action taken to raid the bank, that it is illegal. I'm challenging Richard Duncan. Why Richard Duncan? Richard Duncan advocated to walk the straight and narrow. I have great respect for this individual. Not me alone, I respect for him. Kit Mitchell respect him too. You know. Kit Mitchell went to the enemy camp. Take Richard Duncan and put him in charge of FRAC. That is not an easy level of political maturity and in respect, you know. Richard Duncan in the highest level in the public service. He was permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance. In addition to that, he challenged government on a matter of principle and technicality and won. And Richard Duncan went to the cooperative bank. So I dare and I challenge in him. Richard Duncan is associated with NDC, I believe. A public figure. So I feel that I'm comfortable to call his name on the radio. If he wasn't a public figure, I would not have called his name on the radio. Richard Duncan, I dare you. Not me, let the public know if what the government did vis-a-vis the Grenada Development Bank, if they were right. If they were legal. And is it reasonable for me to consider them as petty thieves? They break the door in the bank and go in and take money. They are nothing but petty thieves. There is no sophistication in that. All of them is aware that they ought not to do that. The regulation started in 1973. No other government have done that. So these individuals are nothing but petty thieves. And Richard Duncan, I dare you, I challenge you, because I have great respect for you, to publicly defend them and to acknowledge they were wrong. It is illegal. And that is emancipation. That is going to help our country. When the ordinary man could have faith in the intelligentsia and our success story. And you're back with me again tomorrow since the clock struck 12. On Target is here. And you have a chance to punch. Thank you very much. And remember to subscribe.
Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend.